All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Vays. As you can see, things are not looking all that rosy today, and therefore we are going directly to the charts. Let's do charts first, then announcements. Right away. Boom, here we go. Looking at the charts, we have the weekly chart. The weekly chart is not looking good at all. We have another downward week, but we are stuck in between. Audio very low again. Why is the audio low? Like, I'm using the right microphone. Let me just turn it off and on real quick. Microphones to switch microphones to something shitty, and now this should be good. This should be good. It better be good. This is the reason why I pay for a high-end microphone. I have no idea why. You know what it is? I changed the setting. Someone asked me to change it. Hold on one second. There's some kind of an original audio thing. I don't know what happened there. Is this better? There's some kind of an original sound on-off button. Well, if people start screaming right now, that means I screwed it up. All right, anyway. I'm going to keep it this way. Yeah, it was some kind of original audio on versus off. It's a lot better. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. I'm going to blame Jimmy Song on that. How to get rid of that feature. Way better. Okay, good. Let's go to charts. Okay. Weekly chart, that is a nasty looking candle, and the week is almost coming to an end. The closer the candle closes to the bottom of the range, the worse it is. But as long as we stay above the intermediate moving average, this is not really a big deal. We've seen this problem before. We saw it back here in early September, and we recovered off of it very nicely by creating a new all-time high. This was my original red line for when trouble sets in. I'm probably going to delete this line. It's no longer very relevant. And right now, we are bearish on the MRI. We are bearish on the Lucid SARS. We are bearish in other ways, like we're below a moving average, and that moving average is declining. But the bigger picture is still bullish. We still have an uptrend using the weekly scale, though this trend line could potentially be in danger. Our most important chart is the position chart. And at which point do we need to get more defensive and go lower than a 40 to 50% bullish allocation? And I would say that point is coming very, very soon. We have not been in such a defensive position in a while. The last time we came close to such a position was when we approached this long-term moving average. And we are approaching this long-term moving average once again. So as long as we hold this moving average, it's okay to be 40 to 50% bullish Bitcoin. Remember at which point we went 100% bullish Bitcoin, and that is still lower than our current area. So we were 100% bullish from here, and we've been bullish for a while. And we lowered that allocation to 75 back in mid-November. And if we could start crossing below the long-term moving average later this week or next week, we will probably lower this allocation to 25 to 30%, where the final 25 to 30% will come off the table as the moving averages cross, and also as the long-term moving average starts to decline. As you can see right here, we were completely out of the long-term position. In fact, this is a potential opportunity to short the market. I have not put on a short on this chart yet. We first have to go to 100% cash and then eventually start considering short opportunities. So shorting Bitcoin, especially in a bull market, is probably not a good idea. All right, daily chart. Now, daily chart may not be the most important chart from a position perspective, but it is my personal best chart historically that I've used for my trading. And on this chart, I drew this circle the other day saying that this is potentially a good area of reversal, but it's gonna take some faith in the fact that Bitcoin is in a bull market, because normally when a price comes back down to a double bottom situation like this, it is more likely to break down and head towards the prior level of support. Not only do we have the moving average support here, we also have the prior swing high support right there at that line. And if you're one of those people that doesn't really like to cherry pick one of these, we could be more conservative and use this line as the prior swing high support, but this does put us a little bit in the middle of nowhere. So I personally prefer this area right here for the ultimate support. But somehow Bitcoin needs to separate from a double bottom visual situation. The one way it can do it is in a couple of days from now, we crash down intraday to the low 50 area, like 50,000, 51,000, and then rally all the way back up and hold the moving average and close at around 52, 52 and a half, just at the moving average. This will create a situation where we have a clear lower swing low and a clear low level close and hold the moving average at the same time, creating the perfect technical analysis environment for a rally. At the moment, I still believe in Bitcoin for a potential rally off of the moving average. That doesn't mean we're going to rally into a new all-time high. It could also mean we're going to rally into the 50-period moving average and then get grossly rejected for something a little more problematic, creating lots of havoc, especially with the over bullishness that we have. It will allow Michael Saylor and President Bukele to purchase more Bitcoin for themselves. So don't let them buy all the Bitcoin. I still see this as a beautiful buy the dip situation on a long-term scale. All right, next, the short-term chart. The short-term chart is in trouble. I drew this line yesterday and I said, this is the line that Bitcoin needs to hold, and we are not holding it at all. We crashed through that line with the red star candle and down we go. I now have very little confidence that the lows from late November will hold. I am now having more confidence that the drop will continue into a new swing low, hence my background. GBTC, let's see how the premium is doing, and the premium is collapsing. This actually makes sense that the premium is collapsing because there is a fire sale on the asset. Remember, GBTC is a contracted ball of Bitcoin. It has not been creating any new GBTC shares. Well, misspoke. GBTC shares can still be created due to lockups that have ended earlier this year. But future lockups are not existent because no one is buying into the trust. You have to be silly to buy into the trust, hold your Bitcoin for 6 months in the trust, only to sell it at a 17% discount to the current market value of the asset. Now, we don't know what the premium will be 6 months from now, but you can't assume that it's going to be above, like 10% positive. So that means no one is buying into new grayscale trust. So no future GBTC shares are going to be created. The number of GBTC shares is basically fixed in place until the premium goes above zero. And eventually FOMO will set in, Bitcoin will move in the direction of $1 million, and there will not be enough GBTC shares to go around. So I still do anticipate this premium to go above zero eventually once bullishness in the market comes back, because you are dealing with a very restricted supply of Bitcoin in this barrel environment. I don't care about the CME gaps. I really couldn't care less about the CME gaps, guys. This has been covered on this channel time and time again. I find the CME gaps completely irrelevant. Oil, let's wait till the end of week, which is actually the end of today. I still believe oil is going to recover and go back to all-time highs because there's only so much strategic reserve that Biden could release into the environment to lower the consumers' hate for the rising gas prices. Gold has not done much, no comment. S&P 500. S&P 500 has literally been schizophrenic. We have a crash, we have a big rise, we have a crash, we have a big rise followed by a crash on the same day, mind you, then a big rise and now a crash. So just like with any other asset, and by the way, this is the kind of environment that wrecks 3x leverage ETFs. It wrecks it. When you have these monster swings up and down, it wrecks havoc on XXX leverage ETFs. You may have to go find a video from, say, 3 or 4 years ago that talked about leveraged ETFs in more detail, but this is literally the worst environment. Even if you are short triple leverage ETF, these 2 days are going to wipe out so much of your gain if you held it for about 3 days. It's really, you're better off buying options. If you have that much conviction about a direction in the market, you have to learn how to use options. You can learn how to use options safely with my on-demand videos. It is expensive, but so is options trading, and it's very risky. So if you can't afford a $2,000 full-blown workshop on options, options is really not for you. It's just not, I'm sorry. Basic trading comes in at a much cheaper price. You also have the old Tyler Jenks videos, like Consensio and the hyperwave theory. All right, those interested in the indicator can find it in MRI indicator. We're going to go back to the charts in a second. And don't forget, Unconfiscatable is on sale now. I think we are down to 20 tickets at 400. And then everything else will stay the same, guys. This ticket will go up to 500. We're just, giving the first batch of people an early heads up. The real value of that ticket is 500. The price of the dinner is going to go up. The dinner is selling out quick. That's it. That's the whole dinner. Yeah, I think I have to lower this amount, but I think the price is going to rise of the dinner. So it's a true supply and demand here. The dinner is very limited to just 100 people, and a quarter of them are going to be speakers. Speaking of speakers, we're going to start posting images very, very soon. But trust me, they're going to be good. They're going to be good, and they're going to be Bitcoiners. Axe throwing is going to be fun. You don't need to sign up for that. You just have to show up. Okay. Also, the poker game. the poker tournament, just click on this image in order to sign up. People have been figuring that out, so we're getting poker signups. Everything is taking place downtown. Look at our beautiful map. We got our little Bitcoin logos for the locations. Fremont Street's the best. All right, Mempool, what do we got? Oh boy, can we expect isolation camps all over the world like in Australia? No, not all over the world. I don't actually expect it in America. Maybe in California. Or they'll just send you over to Squid Row. It's pretty much a concentration camp. Yep, Mempool is cleared. I don't remember what that thing was the other day, but like I said, it seemed weird. And the Mempool is fully cleared. One SAT transactions, go for it. Nothing stopping you. Hey, understanding Bitcoin, guys. I'm releasing more videos. I forgot to release one this morning. I got to start tweeting these out. Zender did a great history on Bitcoin Core and all of those issues. Understanding multi-sig is another one. That was a beautiful panel. And the workshops by Giacomo and Ben Sessions on hardware wallets. We did a whole demo of Jade Wallet. So go ahead and check these out. Also, Understanding Mempool by Simon. I'm going to release the other videos right after this video. TLT. Let's look at TLT. Interesting. Bonds are rising in price. What does that mean? If bonds are rising, that means yields are falling. It's an inverse relationship. I was never that much of a bear on bonds. I don't believe interest rates are going to rise anytime soon. Look, the economy is in a disaster. Why would interest rates rise? So interest rates are probably falling. We can look at the weekly chart. Here, this is the 5-year yield. Here's the 10-year yield. I guess the 10-year is good. And the 10-year yield got as low as, in March 2020, it's got as low as 0.5%. I don't think it's going to get as low, but I do think the 10-year yield will probably drop some more before going up. Yeah, you know, the high gas prices doesn't seem to affect traffic. People are still driving. And that's because people don't want to wear a mask on public transportation. If you're driving, if you're normal, you're not going to wear a mask in your car. Though I still see people driving around alone in their cars with a mask on. I've seen guys getting off a motorcycle, take off their helmet, and they're wearing a mask. I mean, this is how insane some people are. You're riding a motorcycle. It's significantly more dangerous than COVID, like probably infinitely more dangerous than COVID. If you're young enough to ride a motorcycle and you're wearing a mask, I don't understand what's going through your brain, right? Like, what are you doing? But hey, that's just my opinion. Funding rate, good question. Powell's job is to speak in public. I mean, it's... Lessons how to set up a Lightning node. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Let me see. Funding rate's non-existent. Funding rate is done. Like, it's just neutral. So we wait for the market to give us a direction. Yeah, the true Ethereum all-time high was a long time ago. So if we go to our shitcoin folder and we look at Ethereum, you got to look at it versus Bitcoin. And while we are potentially breaking above the prior swing high, which took place back in May 2018, and breaking this higher swing high completely opens the door for a new Ethereum all-time high. Ethereum does need to go above 0.15 of a Bitcoin to break above that. Now, considering how much new Ethereum comes into circulation versus how much new Bitcoin comes into circulation, this would be incredibly challenging to do because there's just way more Ethereum out there. By market cap, who knows what's going to happen? By price, Ethereum would need to break this area to be a new all-time high. A dollar value of Ethereum going to new all-time high is pretty much irrelevant. We can look at it from the perspective of, say, Litecoin. Here's Litecoin versus the dollar. The Litecoin hit a new all-time high versus the dollar in May 2021. But if you look at it versus Bitcoin, and we go to May 2021, wow, look at that. May 2021. It wasn't even close. Like, it wasn't even close. It was down 82% from its real all-time high, right? And about, I think this is where Charlie sold, and about 70% down from when Charlie Lee sold his Litecoin, or at least told the world he did. I have no idea what he actually did. So it really doesn't matter if Litecoin, and Litecoin, you can actually compare apples to apples with Litecoin, because Litecoin is on a similar schedule of Litecoins being released into the market as Bitcoin. Yes, it started a few years behind, so it's about one halving behind, but it's a consistent ratio of Litecoins versus Bitcoins. Granted, it's 4 times larger, but in any case, this is how you evaluate an asset, not versus the dollar. Now, the Binance unlicensed, unregistered security scam is hitting new all-time highs against Bitcoin, or at least close to hitting new all-time highs against Bitcoin. It hit that high in May 2021, and it is very likely to break it based on technical analysis. No, that's not big A. That's not true, right? Just because you have a car doesn't mean you're going to use it. I mean, maybe in rural America, or maybe in areas outside of major cities, but your personal convenience and your breathing freedom is important to many people. So yeah, you're going to use your car way more often than, say, carpool and stuff. Or use Uber that makes you wear a mask less often. Look, Bitcoin is still doing well. It's about 50,000. If you ask anyone 3 years ago if 50,000 would have been good by this time, sure, they would have been happy. All right, guys, don't forget, Unconfiscatable coming to Las Vegas the first weekend of March. Come and join us. If you want to support, check out vays.com. Need to fill out my calendar. I want to go somewhere, but I'm very frustrated with the latest on this latest variant. And I don't know what kind of restrictions they're going to put in. So it makes me very hesitant in traveling at the moment. But Florida is always great. Meet me there. And of course, there is an affiliate page. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. And I will see you all on the next one. Next week, there'll be lots of news on the upcoming financial summit. Bye, guys.